My wife files for divorce, and my 7-year-old daughter asks the judge, "May I show you something that Dad doesn't know about, Your Honor?" The judge nodded. When the video started, the entire courtroom froze in silence. "I'm glad to have you here. Follow my story until the end and comment the city you're watching from so I can see how far my story has reached. My name is Dennis. I'm 63 years old, and until that Tuesday morning in October, I thought I understood my life. For 15 years, Amanda and I had built what I believed was a happy marriage. We were raising our 7-year-old daughter, Skylar, in a comfortable suburban home. I worked long hours as a regional sales manager, and Amanda ran a boutique downtown. Like most husbands, I knew marriage wasn't perfect. We had disagreements, we had stressful seasons. But divorce, that possibility never crossed my mind. Yet there I was, sitting in a courthouse while Amanda's attorney described me as a neglectful husband and an absent father. Every sentence felt like a punch. According to their version of events, I cared more about work than family. I missed important moments. I left Amanda to handle everything alone. Some facts were true. I worked hard, sometimes too hard. But they ignored why. Every late night, every business trip, every extra hour was for my family. It paid for Skylar's activities, Amanda's business dreams, and the home we all enjoyed together. Still, as I sat there listening, doubt started creeping in. Had I really failed them without realizing it? Across the courtroom, Amanda avoided my eyes completely. That hurt more than anything. She didn't look heartbroken. She didn't look conflicted. She looked prepared, almost relieved. The woman sitting across from me felt nothing like the wife I had shared 15 years with. Beside us sat Skylar, clutching her worn stuffed elephant. She was supposed to be in school. I never understood why Amanda insisted she attend the hearing. The entire situation felt wrong. Every few minutes, Skylar looked at me with worried eyes, as if she knew something I didn't. And looking back now, she did. As the hearing continued, Amanda's lawyer pushed for primary custody, financial support, and possession of our house. The more he spoke, the more I felt like this divorce had been planned long before I ever knew there was a problem. Amanda kept checking the clock. Her attorney seemed unusually prepared. Neither of them looked surprised by anything happening in court. Meanwhile, my daughter watched everything in complete silence. That silence bothered me, because over the previous several months I'd noticed changes. Amanda had become secretive. Phone calls ended whenever I entered a room. Conversations stopped when I walked by. She suddenly needed frequent girls' nights, weekend outings, and mysterious errands. At the same time, Skylar had changed too. She'd become quieter, more observant, almost as if she were paying attention to something the rest of us couldn't see. Then one evening, while helping her with homework, she asked a question that seemed strange at the time. "Daddy, how do you know when someone is lying?" I remember laughing softly, but now sitting in that courtroom, that question echoed through my mind. Because I was beginning to realize my daughter had been noticing things long before I ever did. And within the next hour, she was about to reveal a secret that would destroy everything Amanda had worked so carefully to hide. The courtroom remained silent as Amanda took the witness stand. She adjusted her dress, swore to tell the truth, and began speaking with remarkable confidence. Listening to her was surreal. She described herself as a devoted wife who had spent years trying to save a failing marriage. She painted me as emotionally unavailable, distracted by work and disconnected from my daughter's life. To anyone hearing her for the first time, she sounded believable. That was the frightening part. The best lies usually contain pieces of truth. Yes, I worked long hours. Yes, I occasionally missed events because of business trips. But Amanda carefully omitted every sacrifice, every bedtime story, every weekend at the park, and every effort I made to be present despite carrying the financial weight of our household. As she continued speaking, I noticed something unusual. Skylar wasn't listening like a confused child. She was watching her mother, studying her, almost waiting. Then I saw her reach into her backpack. Slowly, carefully, she pulled out a tablet, the same tablet Amanda had purchased months earlier. At first, I thought she was simply looking for a game to distract herself, but the expression on her face told a different story. She looked nervous, determined, focused. "Daddy," she whispered. I leaned closer. "I have something that shows the truth." The words hit me harder than anything Amanda's lawyer had said all morning. "What do you mean, sweetheart?" I whispered back. Before she could answer, Amanda's testimony continued. She began discussing custody arrangements. According to her, Skylar would be better off living primarily with her because my work schedule supposedly prevented me from being a fully involved parent. Every word seemed rehearsed. Every answer sounded prepared. And that's when Skylar suddenly stood up. The entire courtroom turned toward her. She raised her small hand. "Your Honor," she said in a clear voice, "may I show you something that my daddy doesn't know about?" The room went completely still. Amanda's face instantly lost color. For the first time all day, she looked genuinely afraid. The judge paused before responding. "What would you like to show me, young lady?" Skylar walked forward, clutching the tablet. Her hands trembled slightly, but her voice remained steady. "I made some videos because I thought something was wrong." Amanda's attorney immediately objected, but the judge silenced him. She wanted to hear what Skylar had to say. "I was confused," Skylar continued. "Mommy said one thing when Daddy was around, but different things when he wasn't." The judge nodded gently. "And what did you record?" Skylar swallowed hard. "The truth." Amanda suddenly shifted in her chair. I could see panic spreading across her face. The judge allowed Skylar to open the first video. The moment the audio began playing, my entire world changed. Amanda's voice filled the courtroom. Cold, calculating, unrecognizable. She was speaking to a man named Marcus. A man I had never heard of. "I haven't loved Dennis for years," the recording said. "He's useful, that's all." My stomach dropped. The recording continued. Amanda openly discussed waiting for the divorce so she could collect financial support, keep the house and start a new life with Marcus. Every sentence felt like a knife. The woman I had trusted for 15 years was speaking about me as though I were nothing more than a paycheck. The courtroom sat frozen. Even the judge appeared stunned. Then Skylar quietly opened another video. This one was worse. The screen showed Amanda kissing a man inside our home. Inside the house I had worked for years to provide. Inside the kitchen where we'd shared family dinners. Inside the home where our daughter slept every night. The betrayal was almost impossible to process. Yet Skylar wasn't finished. One recording became two became 5. Each video revealed another layer of deception. Amanda discussing custody strategies. Amanda mocking my trust. Amanda planning how to portray me as an unfit father. Amanda coaching conversations designed to damage my reputation. The deeper the recordings went, the clearer the truth became. This divorce wasn't a desperate decision made by a hurt wife. It was a carefully planned operation. Months of preparation. Months of manipulation. Months of lies. Then came the recording that changed everything. Amanda's voice filled the courtroom once again. "Once I get primary custody, everything else falls into place." She laughed. "Dennis is so trusting, he'll never see it coming." The room fell silent. Nobody spoke. Nobody moved. Even Amanda's lawyer looked defeated. Then I looked toward my daughter. This brave little 7-year-old had carried this burden alone. She had watched everything, recorded everything, protected evidence, because she knew no one would believe a child without proof. At that moment, I realized something heartbreaking. While I had been trying to save my marriage, my daughter had been trying to save me. And judging by the expression on Amanda's face, she knew her entire plan had just collapsed. The judge requested a recess to review all the recordings. As people slowly stood and conversations erupted around the courtroom, I sat frozen in my chair, because deep down I knew the worst revelations still hadn't been heard. And when court resumed, Amanda's mask was finally going to come off completely. When court resumed, the atmosphere had completely changed. Judge Morrison had reviewed the recordings. The sympathy Amanda had enjoyed earlier was gone. What remained was a clear picture of deception, manipulation, and a calculated attempt to use both the court system and her own child for personal gain. Amanda tried to defend herself. She claimed the recordings lacked context. She argued that private conversations had been misunderstood. But the evidence spoke for itself. Video after video showed planning, dishonesty, and efforts to damage my relationship with Skylar. Then came the moment that sealed everything. Frustrated and cornered, Amanda turned toward our daughter. "This is your fault," she snapped. "You ruined everything." The courtroom fell silent. Even the judge looked shocked. No loving parent blames a 7-year-old for telling the truth. At that moment, every remaining doubt disappeared. The judge immediately granted me temporary primary custody and dismissed Amanda's financial demands pending further review. Her entire strategy had collapsed. But the real victory wasn't legal. It was sitting beside me holding a stuffed elephant. It was the little girl who had shown more courage than most adults ever will. If you've ever seen someone stand up for what's right, when it would have been easier to stay silent, subscribe. Because stories like Skylar's deserve to be remembered. 6 months later, life looked very different. The divorce was finalized. The lies were gone. The tension that once filled our home had disappeared. Most importantly, Skylar no longer carried the burden of secrets. One Saturday morning, as we shared pancakes and laughed about nothing important at all, I realized something. I hadn't lost my family that day in court. I had saved the part that mattered most. That little girl didn't just expose the truth. She protected our future, and as I watched her smile freely again, I finally understood something powerful. Truth may take time to win, but when it does, it changes everything.